Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking Politics here at The Hindu with me, Nistula Hebbar, where we unpack the news making the headlines in domestic politics. This week, we make our way to the politically significant state of Uttar Pradesh, which is to go to assembly polls early next year. While Uttar Pradesh, with 80 Lok Sabha seats, has always been considered very important. It's always said that the way to Delhi is through Uttar Pradesh, and therefore, an assembly election in the middle of this government's tenure is likely to be seen as more than just another assembly election. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been inaugurating projects and also laying foundation stones of others in order to give a very strong message of development and of the work that has been done with what the BJP keeps terming as the double engine ka sarkar, that is, a BJP government in the state and at the center, basically easing the way for development to take place. But on the other hand, last week we saw Samajwadi party leader Akhilesh Yadav make some significant alliances, or at least hint at some pretty significant alliances, and his creeping acquisition of the non-Yadav OBC space. Just what this space consists of and what is the importance of it in these assembly elections is what this episode of Talking Politics will be all about. What is this non-Yadav OBC vote space that everybody keeps talking about while discussing politics in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar? Ever since, in fact, with greater intensity since the 2017 assembly polls in UP. Well, for this, we'd have to go back to the 1990s and the division between the Mandal politics and the Kamandal politics that informed much of the politics in that at that time and in Uttar Pradesh. Now, the Mandal parties were largely those parties which were formed after the implementation of the Mandal Commission recommendations. These were parties which were dominated by the Yadav community and had in their fold the minority Muslims and a large number of non-Yadav OBCs as well, who saw the 27% reservation recommendation coming in from the Mandal Commission report as hugely empowering for this intermediate sort of section in the Indian caste system. And the Kamandal politics, on the other hand, was a Hindutva-based politics which rose around the movement for Ram Janmabhoomi temple construction in Ayodhya. It was spearheaded by the BJP, and BJP at that time was seen largely as an upper caste party of Brahmins and Rajputs, some sections of the Rajputs and the Vaishya community. So when we start from there, much of the entire OBC vote was seen as a consolidated whole, and a Muslim Yadav combination, just as in Bihar with the RJD, seemed to be in the grip of the Samajwadi party, at that time headed by former Chief Minister Mulayam Singh Yadav. Now we can cut to 2017 under Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his electoral success in 2014. There was a conscious move in the BJP for the OBCification of the party. It was felt that a consolidated Hindu vote had to basically vacate a large space for OBCs and non-Jatav Dalits from the BSP fold for the BJP to reach critical mass in terms of forming a government on its own in Uttar Pradesh. Now, OBCs form nearly 60% of the voting bloc in the non-Yadav OBCs, form nearly 60% of the voting bloc in Uttar Pradesh, and therefore to win over this bloc would be extremely important. But these are also communities which are not as large in number, seemingly, as the Yadav community. They're Kurmis, Nonias, Maurya, Shakyas. All these communities are small, but they are significant in certain pockets of the state. Now, in 2017, starting from 2014, actually, the BJP got working and made small alliances with these caste-specific groups, some of whom had become political parties in their own right, who were also looking at a larger party to latch on to and gain some significance. So you had the Suheldev party representing the Rajbhar community. This was around the Ghazipur area. Around Mirzapur, you had the Apna Dal, Union Minister Anupriya Patel is the leader of that group. She was in fact part of the NDA in 2014 itself. Then you have the Mahan Dal, which represents the Maurya community, and other such smaller groupings, Nishad Party near Allahabad. So all of these parties were then subsumed in the NDA grouping, and all these small groups, significant in their little pockets, seem to kind of aggregate into a largest number for the BJP. In 2017, in fact, the BJP for itself, apart from giving seats to its allies who belong to non-Yadav OBC parties, gave more than 35% of its own seats to non-Yadav OBC candidates. And therefore, it swept to power with more than 300 seats in a 400-odd seat assembly in Uttar Pradesh. Now, this basically brought home to the Samajwadi party that they were now actually only left with the Yadav and the Muslim vote. In the OBC bloc, therefore, there was a chipping away of the other votes, the non-Yadav OBC votes towards the BJP, and what was left with the SP, although significantly large in terms of vote share, did not stack up to quite as number of seats. So this time around, it seems that Akhilesh Yadav wants to get his caste arithmetic right. He has ruled out his earlier unsuccessful alliances with the Congress and the Bahujan Samaj Party. With the Congress, he tied up in 2017, and for the 2019 general elections, he had tied up with the BSP headed by former Chief Minister Mayawati. This time around, Akhilesh Yadav has almost finalized alliances with the Suheldev party, led by former minister in the UP government and former ally of the BJP, Prakash Rajbhar. They have in fact shared the dais on a couple of public meetings. Now, the Rajbhar community has is dominant around the Ghazipur area, and they have around 2 to 6% votes in about 8 to 12% seats. They are considered important, and the Rajbhar community is also spread further from that area. Then you have the Mahan party, which is in the area of Padrona, Gorakhpur, and they also have about significant population in 7 to 8 seats, and basically they have 4 to 6% community vote across BJP. The one very important alliance that Akhilesh Yadav seems to be firming up is with the Rastriya Lokdal in Western UP. Western UP, please remember, was an area which the BJP swept. It got about 119 seats out of 130 seats. The Samajwadi party has not been traditionally very strong there, and therefore a tie-up with the RLD, the Rastriya Lokdal, which commands a support base among the Jat community, which is dominant in that area, would, it is hoped, yield some dividends for the Samajwadi party. One very surprising visitor to Akhilesh Yadav's home in Lucknow last week was that of Aam Aadmi Party leader Sanjay Singh. Now, one would say that the Aam Aadmi Party, which is a largely urban sort of political entity, may have some issues with tying up with the Samajwadi party, but it seems that in the discussion that was held in Akhilesh Yadav's Lucknow home, basically a list of around 32 seats was drawn up where the Samajwadi party, and these were largely urban seats, where the Samajwadi party stood fourth, and the Aam Aadmi party felt that they, with their mobilization and with the alliance with the Samajwadi party, could improve their position in some of these seats. Of course, not all of these seats are going to be distributed to allies, but some of these seats certainly. So there seems to be a creeping acquisition in the manner that the BJP did in 2017 on the part of Akhilesh Yadav to draw back the non-Yadav OBC voters to the Samajwadi party fold to make it again an OBC bloc. He has also been raising issues like the holding of a caste census. He has promised that if elected as chief minister, he will authorize a caste census in Uttar Pradesh at least. And therefore, it's a very, very firm sort of strategy on bringing back the voters that seem to have fled to the BJP in 2017 onwards. So this is all I have for you this week. I hope this attempt to slightly demystify all the meetings and alliance talk that is swirling around the Samajwadi party made sense. I'll be seeing you next week. Thank you for watching.